Hi, I'm Farzad Mahootian. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Christine Mann Library here at the C.G. Jung Center. And I teach humanities and science core courses in liberal studies at New York University. I'm going to tell you about Carl Jung's Mysterium, Coniunctionis. It's the third in a series of volumes of his collected works where he talks about alchemy specifically and considers various cases. Well, the central idea always is what is the nature of human psyche? What are we? How does the dynamic of the psyche work? So the main opposites would be the conscious and the unconscious aspects of the psyche. And the other really interesting one to me is that Jung is carrying out what he considers to be scientific method, the first round of scientific studies of the psyche. It comes back around and reconnects with itself, kind of like one of the main images in alchemical literature is the Ouroboros, the snake that bites its tail. So his writing is a lot like that. So the form of writing that he engages in is appropriate to the subject matter. The books that he's looking at, these medieval texts, are not linear. The standard way of writing scientific or encyclopedic entries has not yet occurred in the height of alchemical literature. So there's a lot of searching in ways that don't seem to our modern eyes sequential and linear. However, if you see through the eyes of an artist or see through the eyes of literature, fantastic literature, the images and the interpretations all do come around and reattach. And the journey you've taken to get from the one introduction of an image to the final interpretation of it that he gives, your mind changes several times about what that image is. But when you arrive at where he wants to go next, you have something that you didn't think you'd have. Always surprising in that respect. So I'm going to read a little bit about sulfur and his psychological interpretation of this substance. So Jung says, with this, I would like to conclude my remarks on sulfur. This arcane substance has provided occasion for some general reflections, which are not altogether fortuitous in that sulfur represents the active substance of the sun, or, in psychological language, the motive factor in consciousness. On the one hand, the will, which can best be regarded as a dynamism subordinated to consciousness, and on the other hand, compulsion, an involuntary motivation, or impulse, ranging from mere interest to possession proper. The unconscious dynamism would correspond to sulfur, for compulsion is the great mystery of human life. It is the thwarting of our conscious will and of our reason by an inflammable element within us, appearing now as a consuming fire and now as life-giving warmth. The life-giving warmth represents the conscious will. And here, this is how we think we're directing our lives. And generally in the modern world, consciousness is identified as the whole psyche. This is what we do. And then we're surprised when things don't go our way. And in Jungian thought, those surprises are coming from our unconscious. And that's the consuming fire part. Ask me that on any given day, it'll be a little different. There's so much in here. And it's kind of interactive. What you bring to a text like this makes the text appear differently. You can find this book and all of Jung's collected works in the Christine Mann Library. This place is amazing. I'm looking around. I'm surrounded by many titles from many decades. This is a place where you can get lost very quickly, and it's wonderful for that. I highly recommend it.